Welcome to pviforyou.org, which is part of Priority Value Investments. My name is Presley Giles. I'm your host. We also have Mike James up there. He's with us by Zoom. All right, he's the Marine up there. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. Mike is having a little bit of medical problems today. He's having the flu, and so I'm really glad that he could make it with us. And this is the reason why it's so important to have Mike here, is because this was basically Mike's idea. He put everything all together and got everybody together and to make this happen. So we want to say thank you very much to Mike right off the bat. We have one more guest that is due to come in. If somebody just walks in, it's not somebody off the street. He's actually supposed to be here. So we'll do that. We're very fortunate to have Mr. Ron Leverett here with us today. Mr. Leverett is running for mayor of Prairie View, Texas. And Mr. Leverett, how you doing up there?
Doing fine. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine. I'm so glad to have you with us. Thank you very much for being here.
I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to be here.
Well, good. Now I want to introduce Mr. Charles Williams. Charles Williams is a Prairie View graduate, and we want to say hello to him and let him tell us a little bit about himself real quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Fine.
Charles, how are you seeing, man?
Yeah, it's wow. I graduated from Prairie View in 1984. I grew up in Houston. I'm a native Houstonian. I grew up on northeast side of Houston back in the late 70s, early 80s. Mm-hmm. I went on to Prairie View, graduated there, and then started working in television. And I've been working in television, I guess, since 1982, 83. Mm-hmm. I worked in Houston for about 7 years. And then I was recruited to come to New York to work at CBS television station in New York for, I guess, the last 34 years now. And then about a year and a half ago, right before the pandemic, I took the retirement package because I wanted to go out and start my own production company, mm-hmm. which I did, which is WEG Media Group, where I do a little bit for everybody. I do everything from digital content creation, to TV shows, to movies, documentaries, podcasting. And now we're doing this thing called vidcasting. So I do a little bit of everything in the production. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. The man you have on here today, who's running for a second term as mayor, none of this would be possible for me if it wasn't for Mr. Leverett.
Oh, wow. Man, that's pretty nice.
That's pretty amazing.
Look what you did, Mr. Leverett.
Well, I wasn't expecting that, but Charles, I really appreciate you giving me that plug, and I'm glad to see. And I'm sure that you are very successful. I know you are because I hear too much about you. I'm glad you come back from homecoming from time to time. And
what's the old saying? They say when you can back up what you do, is not bragging. It's just a fact.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate that plug too.
Okay. Now we have another guest that just walked in, Malcolm Jackson.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today?
Hey there, Malcolm.
Good.
Now
great.
I got a little bit of your bio that you sent to me. Malcolm is running for Prairie View City Council.
Yes, sir. Position 5.
Position 5. Tell us a little bit about yourself real quick.
Okay. Well, I'm a resident of Prairie View, longtime resident of Prairie View. Been living there most of the last 20 years as a student for 4 or 5 years. And then just as a resident, I'm a property owner. I do real estate in Prairie View as well as just throughout Texas. And I love Prairie View.
Well, thank you. That's good. I do have a question for you real quick, right off the bat. What made you decide to stay with Prairie View, though? I mean, what...
You mean as far as the school or as far as the city?
I mean, I understand the school, but I mean, why did you stay in the city?
Well, being down here in Texas anyway, it was a little bit cheaper. You know, I'm originally from California, so it was a little bit cheaper. But Prairie View, you know, I started making investments, had interest in Prairie View, friends in Prairie View, and actually had some type of stability within Prairie View. So, you know, in my early years, I leaned hard on that stability and was able to be stand up. And now I'm doing pretty successful, still in Prairie View.
That's great. That's great. Now, see, one of the things that I'm sorry, Mike, were you going to say something?
No, I've been knowing Malcolm for a very long time, and I believe that he's the best person to be in position 5 as it exists today.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
That's good. Now, see, now let me tell you why it's so important that we talk about Prairie View today. When Mike and I started Priority Value, it was because of Mike was having some problems with his real estate issues and everything like that. And one of the things that we talked about is he had gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill when it came to real estate. And one of the things, and after things kind of fell apart for a while, I kind of talked to him and said, you know, why don't we use some of those skills and everything that you've learned to be able to help out your own community, to be able to help out Prairie View? Because I had looked around Prairie View and I said, you know, there are things that could be done here, positive things that could be done. And so we developed Priority Value basically because of Prairie View. And so it's important to have Mr. Leverett here, who's running for mayor. It's important to have Mr. Jackson here that's running for city council, because they're the ones who are pushing Prairie View forward. That's their goal. That's their objective. And we just want to talk to them a little bit today and find out how they're going to go about doing that. So go ahead.
I agree. Yes. And that's the most important thing is, and one of the important, one of the most, I think, most important aspect of this podcast is letting people know, getting the word out on their stance and positions and how they're going to help Prairie View go forward.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't we talk a little bit about Mr. Leverett here? Because this man is absolutely amazing. I got him. I mean, he came into Prairie View, and he automated City Hall. He established the city's police department. He created volunteer fire department and responsibility for obtaining the first ladder fire truck, planning and advocating for the city post office. He hired the city's first licensed state certified city director of utilities. He secured the first funds for HGSC and road improvement. He fought for TxDOT and guarded railroad crossings at 3 locations. I mean, this guy came in like a powerhouse. He came in like a powerhouse, and he's been a powerhouse. I mean, I looked at his track record here, and it's amazing, Mr. Leverett. It's amazing what you've been able to accomplish in the city of Prairie View. Thank you.
Well, let me say thanks for the accolades. But the thing about it is, I couldn't do all of this by myself. Number one, I really appreciate, I'm glad to see Charles. Charles had a lot of experience back in the day, even when we were doing this. And the thing about it is, it took a lot of me being an outsider, I'm not from Prairie View. Although I taught at the university for some 16 years, I had an opportunity to really see the city from a different vision. And my vision was a city. Well, I didn't see it. I got involved in the city I've had over 40 years of actual experience, involvement in the city government, county government, local government, state government, even national in some instances. And I realized that we had to put all of that together to bring in, to try to get city to where it is now. But when you talked about the things that you mentioned earlier, we started with almost nothing. I mean, we didn't have a post office, as you said. I couldn't understand why we didn't have a post office. I had to go out and do a lot of things. We didn't have any of the resources that we have now. We had to build streets. We had to improve our utilities, our infrastructure. I mean, all of those things that had to be learned, and it took a period of years to even build that up. I was glad that we did have some people to cooperate in helping us get that done, but again, it was not easy, and it was a struggle to get those things done. So, you know, I'm really glad that we are where we are, and I think that we are ready to go to the next level.
I agree, and I think that it sounds like you're the man that's going to be able to take us there.
Yes. Now, I have a quick question for Ron Leverett. What made you decide to run again? Was it because of the behavior and activities at the mayor now? Why did you decide to run again?
Why did I decide to run again? Was because you and I and Albert have attended meetings and meetings and meetings. You've been involved, and I've seen a lot of conversation about doing things, but I have not seen a lot of results of the conversations and planning. We plan, but I don't see the results of the planning. So, you know, I have to go back and say the things that were done back and when we had nothing. We started. We didn't have a post. We planned that, and we got a post office. We didn't have a police department. We had one police officer. That anybody know that when I became mayor the first time, we had one police officer and never had a new police car. One police officer in the whole city. So we had a lot of, we had to automate the city administration. We didn't have a licensed certified utility director. We were operating in the name of a city, but we didn't have the infrastructure that was needed to really cause the city of Prairie View a city. So it took a lot of education. We implemented a lot of things, and we had to do a lot of things to really get to where we are now. What really made me decide, what made me decide to run again was because I would like to see Prairie View go to the next level. The things that we had established back in the day, we're ready now to move to the next level, but I don't see it taking place. It doesn't take a lifetime to do what we need to do, but it takes the leadership. And right now, I don't see the leadership that we really need to take us to the next level.
When you say leadership, are you talking about the mayor? You talking about the council people at Prairie View, at the City of Prairie View? I mean, what, you know, you don't see the leadership? Tell me about why you see a problem with the leadership at Prairie View now.
Mike, hold on, Mike. One of the things that I don't want to do, and I appreciate the question, but we don't really want to sling mud at anybody. That's not what we want to do. I know Mr. Leverett is capable. I have no doubt in my mind. He's proven his capability, you know, and so I don't think we have to play that. I just if we just show and tell everyone about Mr. Leverett's capabilities, it's no doubt in my mind. And so we don't have to go there. We don't have to do that. The young person that's in there right now, you know, it's okay. But the thing we want to do is we want to get Mr. Leverett in there if possible and be able to move the city of Prairie View forward. That's what we want to do. We don't want to backhand anybody or anything like that. That's not what we want to. Keep it positive if we can. And
my question is, if I'm voting, I'm a citizen of Prairie View, and there's about 5 or 6 candidates to be mayor, why would I give my vote to Ron Leverett? I want to know what would motivate me to vote for Ron Leverett instead of the current mayor that's in there now.
Okay, well, I don't right now, I tell people, I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the people of the city of Prairie View, all of the people of the city of Prairie View. And hopefully my experience that I've had in the past, proven experience. I think that all of you cast their vote, if you get an opportunity to look at the experience that I've had, things that have been done, I think it would be obvious. And leadership, again, Mike, you talk about the leadership. I think a good leader would be one that could actually to identify other people that can actually help put the things together. You, Mike, yourself was brought to the table to do some things. So you should be a part, and other people like you. We have people right here in this city who are capable. Malcolm is a good example. Malcolm, he was participating. He came to city council meetings. He was interested in the city government. He participated. He bought property here. I mean, and I consider Malcolm a leader. A leader reaches out to other people who can help put programs together and move forward. And I feel confident with my experience that I know how to do that. And it's not just me, myself. It's not about Ron Leverett. It's about Ron Leverett knowing how to reach out and get the proper people who are qualified to do a quality job. And that's what I stress. I stress that.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you very much for that answer. When I was when the city council appointed me as chairman of the Charter Revision Committee, I was trying to effect some changes that would make Prairie View go forward, and I believe I did at least get the word out that things can be improved, like Ron Leverett was saying. And I definitely agree with what Ron Leverett has said.
Great.
Well, let me, and I hate to jump in on what you said, but I saw what you were doing. I was attending the meetings. You were doing the best you were to bring the people to the table. You tried to bring use the people that were chosen to put a proper agenda together. The agenda that I saw you all put, that the group that were put together, one man show is not necessarily mean that one man could do it. Even if I'm elected mayor, and even if it's elected to be a strong mayor as it's set up right now, I would not be the mayor that wants to run the city alone, solo. There's a problem in that. I would still be, if the charter does not change, as you all did diligently to try to change the charter, to spread the duties among the city council members. Even if I get elected, I still would not do it the way that it's set up now, because it means something when the city council members can do something to represent the people that they got elected by. When we swear that we're going to do the best job that we can do for serve the people, we should serve the citizens that elect us to do the job. And that's what I believe.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Go ahead, Charles. You can chime in.
I just want to throw something in. I'm one of those kind of people who believe action speaks louder than words, the old saying. I've known Mr. Leverett since I was 20, so that's 40 years. And what he brought to the mayor's office the first time, long before he became mayor, he was doing the same thing on the campus as a professor. He took his time, he took his energy, because you can playfully say Mr. Leverett has about, I would say, 300 kids around the country, if not around the world, that will repeat the same thing I'm saying. If it wasn't for someone like him who showed leadership on campus, and what I'm getting to when I'm saying all of this about the campus, because this shows consistency in the branding. He doesn't wait until he runs for mayor and tries to do things. I know he's been doing a lot of things after he left the mayor's office the first time. He's been doing a lot of things in the community, on campus, making sure the name of Prairie View stays out there, to not just to Texas, but to the world. because that little school and that little town has spawned a lot of great people who are doing things around the world at this point. And sometimes the old saying is that you drop a pebble in the water, you don't know where the ripples are going to go. But I'm just saying this is consistency with him. It's not because he's running for mayor, he wants to do these things. It's because he loves the city of Prairie View. And I'm a 40-year testimony to that. I watched what he did as a professor. I watched what he did as a mayor. And I've watched over the last few years, since he's been out of office, what he's continued to do. At one point, I thought he was still mayor. He was doing so much for the city of Prairie View. So that's what I just wanted to stop and say.
Thank you. Okay. Now I want to move over to Mr. Jackson here a little bit. Now, a question I have for you is I've been to the city council meetings. You know, Mike. You know, when Mike and I started developing this program, this nonprofit, we went to the city council meetings, and it was rough. I'm gonna tell you, it was rough because it's like, it's like and I can understand how people got up, citizens got up and just walked out of the meeting because their voices were not being heard. You know, you have certain people that just dominate, and then the people that are coming there with serious issues that are concerning, you know, their homes, their communities, you know, their taxes. You know, they're coming there with those issues to the city council, and they're not being heard. How are you going to make sure that these people are heard?
Okay. Well, first off, I want to commend Mike James, as well as Brother Leverett. You know,
thanks.
Both of them have contributed. They've stuck with it as far as in Prairie View. You can tell their dedication to Prairie View, especially Brother Leverett. You know, like Mr. Williams had mentioned. And I wasn't around when Brother Leverett was a professor. However, he's still guiding and teaching young brothers as well. You know, I've learned a lot from Brother Leverett as well as other young brothers. We got a city councilman right now. I know Brother Leverett has done a lot as far as mentoring him, as well as another previous city councilman. So Brother Leverett is very active in the community, and I'd like to thank him on that. In regards to your question, or addressing that in particular, as far as the residents go, you know, I feel like I got a good relationship with the residents, as well as I can relate to the residents. Like I said, I live in Prairie View. I don't just commute back and forth. Again, my issues aren't just the surface issues that come across that are portrayed to the rest of the community. My issues relate just like the people who live here. Property taxes, you know what I'm saying? The property rates, water, clean water, the water rates, and dealings like that, infrastructure. How can we improve as far as water pressure, the new buildings and stuff that we're actually trying to bring to Prairie View, business as well. You know, we Prairie View, it's a lot of commerce that could come to Prairie View. We need it. We seek it. We're doing business. Prairie View is open for business, like we always say. However, we got to be able to provide the infrastructure for businesses to want to come to Prairie View. We have to be able to provide the safety as far as the policing. Right now, we have the smallest police force in the county. However, the university has the largest police force in the county. We need to be able to work together with the university police, as well as the university in general, so we can make gains for Prairie View as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Businesses would love to come in, but when they're worried about the safety, you know, that concerns them to where they're hesitant or resistant to just necessarily want to come in. So I feel like right now, currently, as it stands and moving forward, we need to be more transparent with our residents as far as future residents or potential residents, potential property owners, potential business owners. You got a lot of young entrepreneurs coming out of Prairie View, like Mr. Giles just said. You get people that show up to city council and you get deflated and depleted immediately because you see what's going on, you notice what's going on, and a lot of it is just, I would say, the focus and the attention is not on the citizen where it should be. You know what I'm saying? We do a lot for the students. The students do have priority in Prairie View just because of how the system works. Unfortunately, you know, I wish we can get more student participation. Me as a young person, that's what I'd be seeking to do, not to just tell the students, but actually get the students to city council, get the students to see what's actually going on and understand, as opposed to just going on campus when it's voting time and portray like we're doing something. You know what I'm saying? We really got it. We have the potential to build. We have the potential to grow. I know it's a lot that's growing in Prairie View. I wish the residents and citizens of Prairie View can grow along with it and flourish along with it. You got a lot of people coming in now just in the area as a whole, Waller with the ISD. You know, all of them are able to get a piece of Prairie View, and they're profiting off of it. They're flourishing off of it. And so the people that have been there for the longest and the people that have put their investment in and hard work, blood, sweat, tears, and toiled in the soil, I feel like they should be able to reap the benefit as well. You know, so that's my stance on it.
It's a good stance. It's good. Now, see, the thing, did you want to say something, Mike? You look like you were about to say something.
Well, yeah, I was, we know that the City of Prairie View and the students, you know, the university is, well, the City of Prairie View surrounds the university. And I was wondering, could there be an emphasis or, I don't know, where we complement what the students are learning, like maybe a solar power plant for the you know, so that students can stay at the university and maybe create a family and live in Prairie View. I believe that would grow, you know, the base of taxpayers if instead of the students being very transient and then leaving the university, they stay because the jobs here utilizes what the skills that they were taught at the university, such as solar energy, or, you know, there's an architectural department on the campus. Maybe we can reach out for the architectural companies, or, you know, there's a nursing, and maybe we could have a hospital, you know, things that the students are learning on campus, that they don't have to go outside the community to earn a living from it, but stay within the community. And I was wondering what you guys thought about that. Ron Leverett, I'll go with you first.
Well, first of all, Mike, you know, you really took the words out of my mouth. Didn't take them out of my mouth, but you tried to demonstrate something a long time ago. And I think I've said that in Charles and Malcolm and you and a lot of other people. When we got ready to, after 5 years of living here, my wife and I we finally decided we were going to stay. We bought property, but we decided to build a home. Well, guess what? I decided to go out, to reach out, because I feel that we have an HBCU university in the city of Prairie View.
Yes.
With that, the city of Waller, the city of Hempstead, the HBCU is in the city of Prairie View, the brain power. I decided to go out and reach out to the university to bring the city and the university together. I went out and got the architect department to design, the students of Prairie View design the house that I'm sitting in making this recording right now. The students of Prairie View designed this. I went out to do that, to show that we had right in the city what we needed to build a city. I was hoping, and they would come over and tour the house to show the students a few years even after that they were capable of doing some things right here. We have what we need, but we don't use it. We need to come. We have what we need to produce what we need here. We have people right here, professionals, plumbers, electricians, people that are capable of doing the work, but we don't seem for some reason to work together to utilize what we have. Why not? It's a reason. We have to concentrate. And we have this, even the city, I can't depend on the university. The city needs to reach out to the university. When we built the post office, we decided to build a post office. We did come together on that, decided to put the post office in a convenient place that would serve the citizens and the students. That's why the post office sits right where it sits right now, because it serves the citizens and it serves the students as well. So we have to demonstrate We can't just talk about it. We have to actually demonstrate how we are doing things to come together.
Great.
Okay.
All right. I wanted to kind of like he mentioned something here, and I want to kind of move forward on that a little bit. When you go to Prairie View, you know, when I first, not when, well, I had been there before, but when I came to visit Mike and deal with the issues that he was dealing with and everything, it was like the university sits on that hill like the Emerald City. And then everything around it, the city around it, seems like it's crumbling. You know, it's having trouble, it's struggling, and it's not about the university, and you depend. And I'm wrong to say this, and I know I'm wrong to say it, but God dog it, it's right on the tip of my tongue, and I got to say it. It's like you're depending too much on that university, and it's like. It's good, just like Mr. Leverett was just saying. You know, it's good to be able to go to the university and be able to use the university for your own good. But at the same time, that city has got to learn to be more independent and be able to have its own things that it needs to survive. Have you ever thought about what? I know it's virtually impossible to happen, but what if that university just all of a sudden disappeared?
Good point. Let me, and I don't mean to pick up all the time, but I need to do something. Mike, and you know this. I gotta give Malcolm credit for this, Jackson credit for this. Malcolm knows probably more about property and resources and helping citizens with their property tax. I mean, getting their land back, and because he puts a lot of emphasis on that. Malcolm probably owns more, I don't know this, but he probably, I know he owns more property than I do in Prairie View. He knows where almost every piece of property in Prairie View is that's available. So this is what we need for people that get involved in the city government, that know what is available, are willing to spend quality time, go to commissioner's court, find out what's going on around us and apply it. Not talk about it, but apply it. Mm-hmm. And I have to give Malcolm credit for that, because he is actually applying what he's doing what he says. He's actually acquiring property, and he's doing something with it. He's not just talking about it. So I have to give him credit for that. And I think I give you credit for what you do. I mean, we got to start recognizing people right here who are capable. We have capable people, and we shouldn't have always have the same burden, the same people to do the same jobs over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And we have capable people, and we got to reach out and recognize those people and take advantage and use them.
But Mr. Leverett, sure. Mr. Leverett, I have to ask you. It's good to acknowledge that. It's good to acknowledge that we need to work together, you know. But how do we actually do that? What would be your plan as mayor to actually start bringing some of that? And if I were talking to President Biden, I would ask him the same question. How do you go about bringing that together? That it's like the system is kind of broken, even in a little place like Prairie View. It's like the system is kind of broken. How do you put that back together again? What would you do as mayor to bring it back together again?
Well, I got to reach back. That's where I got to reach back and take my experiences and show that those experiences that I've had and those experiences that were successful, use them. Knowledge and experience and wisdom goes a long way, because having knowledge is one thing, but if you don't have the wisdom and you haven't done what you've learned, guess what? You got a problem. And I think it's good that you continue to use that, go to the next level, recognize people who are capable of doing the job, recognize the people who fail, the ones that fail. It's a place for the people who fail, but you can't use a failure to succeed at the time that you're trying to succeed. If you failed, it doesn't mean you failed. You got to quit. I mean, you got to come back, you know, so you can take advantage of that. We need to take advantage of the positives and move forward. And those people, as I said, a lot of times when we get in office, every time we get in office, we all don't have the same motive in mind. Those things that we decide to utilize that then we utilize the positive things to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Did Malcolm want to say something about this?
Yeah, Mike. I was gonna pitch in a little bit about that, like he said, as far as trying to break ourselves away from depending on the university so much. Granted, because of the way the situation is set up, the university is able to appeal to the state as well as the county and anybody else with the real big bucks to be able to bring any type of infrastructure or anything to Prairie View. They have the appeal before the city does. We are still just a small town city, just like every other general rural city in Prairie View. In Texas. So it's hard for the city. However, our progressions have to be, we have to expand our thinking. We have to get beyond settling and being content with what we have. We have to expand our thinking as far as coming into the 21st century. 5G. I know Brother Leverett was talking about broadband. They've been having meetings as far as broadband and stuff like that. However, what I'm speaking of as far as we got to expand our thinking is, it's certain stuff in Prairie View that should have been done previously, should have been done already, and we need to get it done as far as moving forward. Prairie View should have way more businesses, way more commerce than what we have. We generate the most business from the Chick-fil-A and the Student Center on campus. They generate the primary business, the primary sales tax dollars come from Chick-fil-A on the campus. So what we need to do is be able to try to move forward and start bringing business to Prairie View. If you look through Prairie View, and I'll give you an example. I went to an auction not too long ago in Waller County. We had some people come in, and they purchased the property right along Old 290, and they paid a bunch of money for the property, 3 times what it was worth. And I talked to them, and their reason of paying that much is they were under the assumption that the property was a commercial property because it's along Old Business 290, and so that's why they purchased the property. However, I told them it's not commercial property. All of Prairie View is zoned for R1 unless you come out and specifically ask or get a permit to have it rezoned. That shouldn't be the situation. We should already have a permit process set up, and as far as it go, we need to go ahead and approve and make it to where businesses can come in along 290. Just go ahead and apply to do the basic paperwork to have a business. But you should be able to put a business along Old 290, along University, as well as maybe a couple other streets. I know Leandro as well. But we shouldn't have to go through the argument of fighting of, can this person have a business, or I don't like this person, so I won't allow them to have a business, or they didn't pay me any money, so and again, it is about financials. I don't care what anybody says. It's not any speculation. It's about financials because the permitting process isn't the same. Some people pay more for a permit than others, and you're asking them a question for the same thing in the same neighborhood. So it's not the same, and it's handpicking and nitpicking. Whereas if we expand our thinking and realize if we start working towards bigger and greater gains, the payout for everybody is bigger in the end. It's not about me. It's not about each individual. It's about the city growing. And as long as the city grows, then we grow, and we grow financially, economically, to where we can start building, like Ron said, you got these young entrepreneurs and young people on the campus where they can come back in and we can start generating financially in Prairie View. We can start making Prairie View what it's supposed to be. Prairie View has all the potential. So it's right there for us, but we got to be able to expand our thinking as a city and not be so closed-minded as far as progress.
Okay, I wanted to
so
say.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Just give me one moment, Ms. Williams. Now I have. You talk about young businesses coming in and so forth and so on. When we got ready, Mike and I started developing this program here, we went to and spoke to someone about economic development. Okay, we spoke to them about economic. We said, well, what's happening? What's going on? What's coming as far as the future, as far as Prairie View goes? We didn't get an answer. We had to go to Waller County. Went to Waller County, and the Economic Development Department, they were good to us. They treated us respectfully. They sent us out the information that we needed the next day. When we spoke to somebody in Prairie View, we got nothing, And see that's part of the problem is that you don't know who to talk to, and then there's all these little things that are going on with who's worthy and who's not worthy, and that's a problem.
Well, and again, I don't want to cut nobody off. I ain't gonna take too much time on this, but a lot of the times it has to do with if I can get something out of it. You know, you approach the city of Prairie View, you approach us. If I can make a way where I can get something out of it, we'll make a way for you. However, if I can't get nothing out of it, I won't even help or assist steer you in the right direction. And then that's kind of what it comes out of. I know you said economic 4B. It's the same thing. It shouldn't be that difficult. And most people that come to Prairie View, I tell them after they go through a lot of hassle, just go to the county, man. Mm-hmm. If you go to the county, you'll get a lot better treatment, a lot better reciprocation. So we got to do a better job with that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Williams, I'm sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay, because this is kind of leads to the question that I have, and this is for Malcolm and Mr. Leverett. Would you guys, once you got into office or back in the office, would you guys entertain the idea of reaching out to even students who graduated from the university, who's kind of in the prime of their careers, and set up a program that we can learn about what's coming to Prairie View, what's being developed, that where we can take some of our disposable income and say we want to develop it housing, we want to develop in a franchise there. Because a lot of students that have graduated who've been out of school for 15, 20, 30 years, we have disposable income that we're looking to invest in something. Mm-hmm. And we want to invest in something that's growing. Mm-hmm. Like me, I'm looking for that next opportunity to invest in a place. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Leverett and I, we've been talking about me coming down to Prairie View and investing in property, investing in possibly a franchise and stuff. So could that be a committee set up where you could reach out to graduates from business to communications to finance to say there's business opportunities here, because we don't know. I'm thinking, even after all these years, I'm thinking Prairie View is just a small town and they like staying in a small town. Mm-hmm. So my thing about it is that if there could be somewhere where we can come and get that information and say, oh, there's a store coming here, there's a new development coming. How do we get something around that development? There's a new strip mall coming. Okay, there's an opportunity for someone to invest in a storefront. What do you guys think about that?